Our wedding, don't be stupid. I got married yesterday, and it wasn't to you. Those were the venomous words her fiancé spat when she dared to ask about their future. In one instant, the man she had trusted, the man she had poured her love and finances into for 6 years as he rose from poverty in real estate investing, shattered her heart into pieces, replacing her without a second thought. But what he didn't know was that betrayal cuts both ways. Behind her tears was a strength he never imagined, and behind her silence was a plan that would leave him on his knees. Because while he gloated with his new bride, karma was already knocking, and the very woman he mocked would rise in a way that turned his triumph into his greatest humiliation. Sometimes the sweetest revenge doesn't come in anger. It comes when destiny flips the story upside down. This is the story of a devoted woman betrayed by her fiancé and best friend, and the revenge that made the world remember her name. And today it is being retold by me. Hello, family. Welcome back. Before we begin, I have a small but heartfelt request. Please subscribe. Your support is what keeps these stories alive. Every time you click that button, you're helping us share voices that would otherwise be forgotten and stories that deserve to be heard. And in the comments, tell us where you're watching from and what time it is there. Because together we are not just telling stories, we are keeping hope alive. Aaliyah Thompson wiped the sweat from her brow as she stepped out of the bustling coffee shop, juggling 2 steaming lattes and a stack of flyers for Jamal's latest real estate pitch. The sun beat down on the cracked sidewalks of the neighborhood where they'd first met, back when he was just a broke kid hustling side gigs to flip his first rundown duplex. 6 years ago, she'd seen something in him. That fire in his eyes, the way he talked about building an empire from nothing. She'd been teaching third graders then, shaping young minds in a cramped classroom, but she'd put it all on hold for him. Quit her job, dipped into her savings, and even co-signed loans when banks laughed in his face. "We're in this together, baby," he'd whisper during those late nights, poring over blueprints and budgets. "You and me against the world." Now, as she headed toward his sleek downtown office, the one she'd helped furnish with thrift store finds turned upscale vibes, her phone buzzed. A text from Jamal. "Come by the office ASAP. Important." Her heart skipped a beat. Maybe it was about the ring he'd promised, the one they'd eyed at that jewelry store last month. Or perhaps a big deal closing, something to finally pay back the cash she'd funneled his way. She quickened her pace, her sneakers slapping against the pavement, ignoring the knot twisting in her gut. The office building loomed ahead, all glass and steel, a far cry from the dingy garage where Jamal had started. Aaliyah pushed through the revolving door, nodding at the receptionist who barely glanced up. "He's expecting you," the woman muttered, eyes glued to her screen. Aaliyah rode the elevator up, practicing her smile in the reflective walls. She looked good today, hair in fresh braids, a simple sundress that hugged her curves just right. She'd lost a few pounds from the stress, but hey, silver lining. Jamal's office door was ajar. She knocked lightly and stepped in, the lattes warm in her hands. "Hey, babe, got your favorite, extra caramel, no foam." He was behind his massive oak desk, the one she'd bargained for at an estate sale. Papers scattered everywhere, his laptop open, but he wasn't typing. He leaned back in his leather chair, arms crossed, face unreadable. No smile, no, "Hey, beautiful." Just a cold stare that made her stomach drop. "Close the door," he said, voice flat like he'd rehearsed it. Aaliyah did, setting the coffees down on the edge of his desk. "What's up? You okay? Looks like you've seen a ghost." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Sit down, Aaliyah." She perched on the chair across from him, her mind racing. Was it money trouble again? Another investor backing out? She'd handle it. They always did. "Talk to me, Jamal. Whatever it is, we got this." He met her eyes then, and something in his gaze chilled her to the bone. No warmth, no spark, just pity mixed with impatience. "Our wedding," he started, then shook his head. "Don't be stupid. I got married yesterday and it wasn't to you." The words hit like a sucker punch. Aaliyah blinked, her brain scrambling to process. What did you just say?" "You heard me." He leaned forward, elbows on the desk. I'm married, as of yesterday. Her knees went weak even though she was sitting. The room spun a little, the air thick and hard to breathe. You're joking, right? Is this some kind of prank? 'Cause it ain't funny, Jamal. His smirk cut deeper than any knife. He pulled out his phone, tapped a few times and slid it across the desk. A photo lit up the screen. Him in a sharp tux, grinning ear to ear at an altar draped in white flowers. And beside him, in a silk gown that screamed money, was Tiana Jenkins. Tiana. Her Tiana. The girl she'd grown up with in the projects, sharing secrets and sleepovers. The one who'd been her ride or die through high school drama and first heartbreaks. Aaliyah's chest caved in. Tiana, she whispered, voice cracking. You married Tiana? Yeah, Jamal said smoothly, like he was discussing the weather. Tiana Jenkins, my wife. It wasn't just the name. It was the betrayal twisting like a hot poker in her gut. Tiana, who knew every detail of their relationship, who'd listened to Aaliyah gush about Jamal's proposals and plans. The friend who'd borrowed money from her, too, back when she was climbing the finance ladder. And now she was wearing the ring that should have been Aaliyah's. No, Aaliyah shook her head, tears pricking her eyes. No, Jamal, this can't be real. We're engaged. You asked me, right there in that park, remember? I gave up everything for you. My job, my savings, all those nights helping you crunch numbers. He chuckled low and cold, the sound echoing in her ears like nails on a chalkboard. You gave up everything because you were desperate, Aaliyah, clinging to a fairy tale that was never going to happen. Her throat tightened, bile rising. You lied to me. All this time. I said what you wanted to hear. His voice sharpened, eyes narrowing. Let's not rewrite history. You were convenient. A placeholder while I got my shit together. Placeholder. The word slammed into her like a freight train. 6 years of love, of scraping by so he could shine, reduced to that. Aaliyah staggered back in her chair, hands trembling. And you let me believe we had a future? That we were building something real? Jamal stood, adjusting his tie with that casual arrogance she'd once found sexy. Now it made her sick. You were useful until you weren't. Don't make a scene, Aaliyah. What did you expect? That a Washington would settle for a Thompson forever? She gasped, the class jab hitting low. His family had always been a step up. Old money whispers, even when they were broke. But she'd thought love bridged that. So I was never enough. That's it? Exactly. His smirk was merciless, like he enjoyed watching her crumble. Be grateful I strung you along as I did. Tears broke free, hot and unstoppable, streaming down her face. Aaliyah wanted to scream, to throw that damn latte in his face, but her body betrayed her, frozen, numb. You're cruel, she whispered, voice barely audible. No, I'm honest. He walked to the door, holding it open. Leave, Aaliyah. Don't embarrass yourself. It's over. She stood on shaky legs, grabbing her bag, the world blurring through her sobs. As the door clicked shut behind her, she collapsed against the elevator wall, choking on the pain. 6 years gone. Her best friend was stolen. Her heart shattered. And Jamal, he didn't even look back. The ride down felt eternal, each floor a reminder of what she'd lost. Out on the street, the sun mocked her. People bustling by like nothing had changed. But everything had. Aaliyah's phone buzzed, probably a notification from social media where the wedding pics were already blowing up. She didn't check. Couldn't. Instead, she walked aimless, the lattes forgotten on his desk, cooling like their love. By the time she got home to her tiny apartment, the one she'd kept modest to fund his dreams, exhaustion hit. She curled up on the couch, replaying his words. Placeholder. Useful. The sobs came harder, racking her body until she could barely breathe. How had she been so blind? Tiana's girls' nights that always seemed off, Jamal's late meetings. It all clicked now, too late. Sleep didn't come easily that night. Aaliyah tossed, haunted by visions of them at the altar, laughing at her expense. But beneath the hurt, a spark flickered. Anger, raw and unyielding. She wasn't done yet, not by a long shot. Aaliyah Thompson stared at her phone screen, the wedding invitation glowing like a slap in the face. It had popped up in her email that morning, forwarded from some mutual friend who probably thought it was funny. Join us in celebrating the union of Jamal Washington and Tiana Jenkins. The venue, a swanky ballroom downtown, the kind with crystal chandeliers and valet parking. She should have deleted it, blocked the number, but something twisted in her gut made her RSVP yes. Maybe to prove she wasn't broken. Maybe to see it with her own eyes. The day of the wedding, she slipped into a black dress. Nothing flashy, just something from her closet that still fit after the weight she dropped. Her braids were pulled back tight, and her makeup was minimal to hide the dark circles. Driving there, her hands gripped the wheel like it was a lifeline, knuckles white. "You got this," she muttered to the rearview mirror. "Walk in, smile, walk out." But deep down, she knew it was a lie. The ballroom buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses when she arrived. Guests milled around in designer suits and gowns, air kissing like they were on a red carpet. Aaliyah spotted Jamal first, tall, sharp in his tux, that million-dollar smile flashing for the cameras. And Tiana, radiant in white lace that probably cost more than Aaliyah's rent for a year, her arm looped through his like she'd always belonged there. Heads turned as Aaliyah walked in. Whispers started low, then rippled out. "Is that her? The ex?" One woman hissed to her friend, not even bothering to lower her voice. "Bold move showing up here." Aaliyah lifted her chin, forcing a nod at a couple she recognized from Jamal's business circles. They averted their eyes, pretending to check their phones. The ceremony kicked off with a string quartet playing some sappy tune. Aaliyah found a seat in the back, her heart pounding like a drum. The officiant droned on about love and commitment, but all she could focus on was Jamal's hand on Tiana's, the way he looked at her, like he'd never looked at Aaliyah in those 6 years of grinding together. Then came the vows. Jamal cleared his throat, mic amplifying every word. "Tiana, from the moment we reconnected, I knew you were the one. You've been my rock, my partner in every sense." He paused, glancing out at the crowd with a smirk. "Unlike some dreams that were just placeholders." Laughter erupted, sharp and knowing. Eyes darted to Aaliyah, and she felt the heat crawl up her neck. Placeholder. He'd said it again, this time for the whole room to hear. Tiana leaned in, her voice honey-sweet over the speakers. "Jamal, you're my everything. No more chasing fantasies with folks who don't measure up." More chuckles, louder now. A guy in the row ahead turned, whispering loud enough for her to catch. "Damn, that's cold." She really thought she had a shot. Aaliyah's nails dug into her palms, drawing blood. She wanted to bolt, but her legs wouldn't move. The kiss sealed it, passionate, showy, with cheers exploding around them. As the newlyweds walked down the aisle, Jamal's eyes locked on Aaliyah for a split second. No remorse, just triumph. Tiana spotted her too, her smile widening into something cruel. "Oh, Aaliyah!" she called out, voice carrying over the applause. "So glad you could make it. Hope you're taking notes on what a real upgrade looks like." The room went quiet, then burst into snickers. Phones came out, snapping pics, not just of the couple, but of Aaliyah, frozen in her seat like a deer in headlights. "Kinda pathetic, huh?" someone muttered nearby. "Showing up after getting dumped like that." Aaliyah stood, legs shaky, and pushed through the crowd toward the exit. Tears blurred her vision, but she bit them back. Not here, not in front of them. Outside, the valet handed over her keys with a pitying look. Her phone blew up on the drive home. Notifications from social media. Posts flooded in. Wedding pics with captions like, "Finally, Jamal levels up with Tiana." "Power couple." "Bye, Felicia." One from Tiana herself. "Dreams do come true when you find someone on your level." "Sorry, not sorry" to the dreamers left behind. Comments piled on. Poor Aaliyah thought she was the one. LOL. Girl, know your place. Hashtags trended. Shook placeholder problems. Aaliyah pulled over, slamming her fists on the steering wheel. How had it spread so fast? She scrolled, each like a dagger. Old friends chimed in, some defending her weakly, others joining the pile-on. "She should have seen it coming," one wrote. "Jamal's too fly for that basic life." The hits kept coming. Creditors called that afternoon. Debts from the loans she'd co-signed for Jamal's flips. "Ma'am, payments are overdue," the voice on the line barked. "Mr. Washington says it's on you now." She begged for time, but the guy laughed. "Heard about the wedding. Tough break, but pay up or we're coming for your assets." Assets? She had nothing left. Savings drained, job gone. Just a stack of bills mocking her from the kitchen table. Home offered no escape. Her mom called that evening, voice dripping disappointment. "Aaliyah, what were you thinking going there? Now the whole family's a joke." Aaliyah paced her apartment, phone pressed to her ear. "Mom, they humiliated me. I had to." "You humiliated yourself," her mom snapped. "Chasing that boy when everyone knew he was out of your league. Tiana's got connections, smarts. You wasted years playing house." The words stung worse than Jamal's. Her aunt jumped on the line next. "Girl, you're dragging us all down." Neighbors whispering, "That's the family with the dumped daughter." Then, Kay Aisha, her little sister, delivered the final blow. Keisha showed up unannounced, scrolling through her phone with a smirk. "Sis, you see this?" She held up a video of the vows, Jamal's placeholder line looping. "Epic shade. Tiana slayed that." Aaliyah's chest tightened. "Keisha, that's your sister you're laughing at. They stole my life." Keisha rolled her eyes, popping her gum. "Stole? Please, Jamal upgraded. Tiana's boss, the finance queen, got her own bag. You were just there, holding him back." She posted right in front of Aaliyah. "Congrats, Jamal and Tiana. Real recognizes real." Winning, "You're sorry, sis." Comments flooded, "Your sister's a loser lol." "You're my blood," Aaliyah whispered, voice breaking. "How can you do this?" Keisha shrugged. "Blood doesn't mean blind. You're embarrassing us. Spreading rumors now? Saying Tiana stole him?" "Girl, he chose better." She flounced out, leaving Aaliyah alone with the echo of her words. That night, Aaliyah curled up on the floor, sobs racking her body. The world had turned her pain into entertainment. Whispers at the wedding, viral posts, family betrayal. Debt collectors knocked the next day, but she didn't answer. Just stared at the ceiling, wondering how much lower she could sink. The humiliation burned, a fire that consumed everything, leaving her hollow. Aaliyah Thompson slammed her apartment door shut, the echo bouncing off the empty walls like a gunshot. She leaned against it, sliding down until her butt hit the cold hardwood floor, knees pulled to her chest. The wedding humiliation replayed in her head on loop. Jamal's smirk, Tiana's cutting vows, Keisha's betrayal post going viral. Her phone vibrated nonstop in her pocket, but she ignored it. No more notifications, no more pity likes or savage comments. She yanked it out and powered it off, tossing it across the room where it skidded under the couch. The silence hit hard, heavier than a brick. No Jamal calling to check in. No Tiana's fake girl talk texts. Just her, alone in the mess she'd made. She stared at the stack of bills on the coffee table, red ink screaming overdue from the loans she'd backed for his real estate hustles. "Stupid," she muttered, voice raw from crying. "How'd I let this happen?" 6 years of pouring her soul into him. And now, zilch. Nada. A big fat zero in her bank account and heart. She dragged herself to the kitchen, popping open the fridge. Empty shelves stared back. A half-eaten yogurt and some wilted lettuce. Appetite gone days ago, but her stomach growled anyway, a traitor in her own body. She grabbed the yogurt, spooned it mechanically, but it tasted like ash. "Who am I kidding?" she whispered, dumping it in the trash can. The girl who used to light up classrooms with stories and games vanished, replaced by this shell, dodging mirrors because she couldn't stand the defeat in her eyes. Venturing out felt like walking into a minefield. The next morning, she forced herself to the corner store for basics: milk, bread, anything to pretend normal. But whispers followed her down the aisle. 2 women by the cereal boxes glanced her way, then leaned in. "That's her, right? The one who got played at the wedding." The other snickered. "Yeah, viral video gold. Pathetic, chasing a guy way out of her league." Aaliyah's cheeks burned. She grabbed her stuff quickly, head down, but at the checkout, the cashier, a guy she'd seen around, gave her that look. pity mixed with amusement. Rough week, huh? Saw the posts. Hang in there. She bolted, bags banging against her legs as she hustled home. Hang in there, she seethed under her breath, like it was a bad haircut, not her life imploding. Back in the apartment, she drew the curtains, blocking out the sun. Days blurred into one endless haze. She binge-watched trash TV, but even that stung. Every rom-com plot twisting the knife. Why me? She'd yell at the screen, tears flowing fresh. Nights were worse, lying awake, replaying every red flag she'd ignored. Jamal's business trips stretched too long. Tiana's sly comments about real power couples. Her own family's warnings she'd brushed off as jealousy. Family. That hurt deepest. Her mom called again that afternoon, voice sharp through the speakerphone. Aaliyah, you gotta snap out of it. Hiding like a hermit ain't helping. Aaliyah paced the living room, clutching the phone. Snap out? Mom, they destroyed me. Keisha's out there defending them. Her mom sighed, heavy like a weight. Keisha's young, dumb. But you? I told you Jamal was trouble. Flashy dreams, no substance. Now look, debt's piling up. Folks laughing at us all. Aaliyah's throat clogged. You think I don't know? I gave everything. And for what? Her mom shot back. To be the punchline? Your aunt's church group won't shut up about it. Poor Thompson girls, one dumped, the other chasing scraps. The call ended with her mom muttering, Get your act together before you drag us further. Aaliyah hurled the phone onto the bed, collapsing beside it. Even blood turned on her. Keisha texted later. Sis, stop moping. Tiana invited me to brunch. Real winners only. Attached, a selfie of Keisha grinning with Tiana's crew. Hashtags like Wineshard, moving on, char boss babes. The isolation gnawed deeper. Friends ghosted, texts unread, calls straight to voicemail. Too awkward, one finally admitted in a DM. Don't want to pick sides. Sides? Like her pain was a game. Social media was a war zone. She snuck back online late one night, scrolling incognito. More memes. Her face photoshopped onto sad clowns. Captions screaming, when you think you're the main chick, but you're just the side quest. Likes in the thousands. Jamal's business page boomed with congrats. Tiana's finance tips now empowering women who trashed Aaliyah. Debt collectors ramped up, pounding on her door the next week. Open up, Ms. Thompson. We know you're in there. She huddled in the bedroom, heart racing, as the guy outside yelled. Washington cut ties. Says the loans are yours. Pay or we seize. Seize what? Her beat-up car? The thrift store couch? She peeked through the blinds after he left, and spotting neighbors gawking. Heard she's broke now, one said loud enough to carry. Serves her right, playing with fire. Weeks dragged on like that. Curtains closed, takeout containers piling up. Her reflection in the mirror, a stranger with hollow cheeks and tangled braids. She skipped showers, ignored laundry, and let the apartment turn into a pit. What's the point? She'd whisper into the dark, curled under blankets. Memories haunted her, teaching kids, their laughs filling the room. Jamal's first big flip, celebrating with cheap wine and dreams. All gone, wiped out by betrayal. One evening, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, doubt crept in harder. Am I really that worthless? The thought looped, vicious. Society said yes, post calling her delusional, family echoing it. Keisha dropped by unannounced, banging on the door. Let me in, Aaliyah. Mom's worried. Aaliyah cracked it open, eyes puffy. Worried or ashamed? Keisha pushed past, nose wrinkling at the mess. Damn, this place reeks. You're spiraling, sis. She scrolled through her phone, showing more wedding fallout. People saying you're obsessed, stalking their pages. Aaliyah snatched it. I'm not. I just can't escape it. Keisha crossed her arms, then stopped being the victim. Tiana's thriving. New deals. Glam life. You're here rotting. The words landed like punches. You're my sister, Aaliyah choked out. Act like it. I am, Keisha snapped. Telling you the truth. You aimed too high, crashed hard. Own it. She stormed out, leaving Aaliyah on the floor again, sobs heaving. Rock bottom tasted like salt and regret. But in that darkness, as exhaustion pulled her under, A flicker stirred. Not hope, not yet, just a whisper in her gut. This ain't the end. She wasn't sure where it came from, but it lingered, a spark in the void. Maybe she had more fight left. Maybe. Aaliyah Thompson dragged her feet through the rain-slicked streets, hood pulled low over her braids to dodge the downpour. It had been weeks since the wedding blow-up, and venturing out felt like stepping into enemy territory. But the fridge was bare again, and takeout cash was running thin. She ducked into the corner bookstore cafe, the one with the worn armchairs and the smell of fresh brews that used to be her escape. Now it was just a pit stop to numb the ache. She ordered a black coffee, no frills, no funds for extras, and slumped into a corner booth, staring out at the gray blur of the world. The steam from the mug fogged her view, but not enough to block the memories crashing in. Jamal's empire rising on her back, Tiana's smug grin, Keisha's cold texts. Get over it, her sister had snapped last time they talked. Easy for her. Keisha was out brunching with the winners while Aaliyah rotted. She sipped the bitter brew, wincing as it scalded her tongue. Fitting, she muttered. Everything burned these days. A shadow fell over her table. She looked up, startled. A tall guy in a crisp, dark suit stood there, raindrops beating on his shoulders like he didn't give a damn about the storm. His face was sharp, high cheekbones, a neatly trimmed beard, and his eyes held a calculating glint, not unkind but intense. Aaliyah Thompson? He asked, voice smooth like aged whiskey. She tensed, ready to bolt. Do I know you? Not yet. He slid into the seat across from her without asking, setting down his own coffee. Name's Darius Bennett. I run Bennett Properties, real estate flips, developments. Ring a bell? Aaliyah's gut twisted. She'd heard Jamal trash talk him plenty, called him a wannabe competitor, sniffing around his deals. What do you want? If you're here to gloat like everyone else? He held up a hand, cutting her off gently but firmly. Gloat? Nah. I know what Jamal did to you. Saw the posts, heard the whispers. Brutal. Her cheeks flushed. Then why bother? Last thing I need is pity from some stranger. Darius leaned in, lowering his voice as thunder rumbled outside. This ain't pity, it's business, and maybe a little justice. He glanced around, making sure no ears were perked, then pulled a slim folder from his briefcase. Jamal Washington ain't the golden boy he pretends. That flashy wedding? Smoke and mirrors. A cover for the dirt he's knee-deep in. Aaliyah's heart skipped. She eyed the folder like it might bite. What are you talking about? He flipped it open, sliding over a page of financials, numbers that danced in her vision, familiar from nights she'd helped Jamal crunch. Look here. His empire built on quicksand, fake loans, shell companies, washing money like it's laundry day. I've been gunning for him in the market for years, and I got burned on a deal, lost a prime property because he undercut with bogus funding. She scanned the docs, her teacher's eye catching inconsistencies. Signatures that looked off, accounts looping back to nowhere. This is fraud? Big time. Darius's eyes narrowed. And Tiana? She's in on it. Not just riding his coattails, she's siphoning cash into her own pockets. Secret transfers, offshore stashes. Their marriage ain't love, it's a merger to hide the mess. While Jamal buries debts, she's building her escape hatch. Aaliyah's breath caught. Flashes hit her. Jamal's stressed calls for quick cash infusions. Tiana's sudden finance gigs popping up. He used me, she whispered, fists clenching under the table. Strung me along while they plotted this? Darius nodded, his gaze steady. You were the decoy, kept things looking legit. Devoted fiancé backing the rising star. Gave him time to lock in with Tiana's connections. But now, their foundation's cracking. One wrong move, and it all tumbles. She pushed the folder back, head spinning. Why tell me? What's your angle? He smirked faintly, sipping his coffee. Angle? Yeah, I got one. Jamal screwed me over, poached clients, tanked my bids with his shady tricks. But alone, I'm just a rival barking. With you, insider knowledge. You know his moves, his weak spots. We team up, expose this, and he goes down hard. Aaliyah's mind raced. Team up? After everything, the idea lit a fire in her chest. Hot, unfamiliar. But doubt crept in. You think I'm some revenge machine? Look at me. I'm barely holding it together. Darius studied her, eyes softening just a notch. I see that, but I also see the woman who built him from scratch. You got smarts, grit. Jamal underestimated you. Tiana too. Hell, your own sister did. Don't let them win. She bit her lip, the rain pattering against the window like her pounding heart. What if this blows up in my face? More humiliation? Won't. He leaned back, confident. We play smart, quiet, calculated. Start with what you know. Old docs, contacts. I got resources, PIs, accountants. Together, we dig deeper. He paused, locking eyes. Aaliyah, you deserve payback, not just for the heartbreak, but for the years they stole. Turn that pain into power. The words hit home, stirring that spark from her darkest nights. Tomo edged out the despair. Could this be real? Jamal crumbling under his own lies. Tiana exposed as the thief she was. Okay, she said finally, voice steadier than she felt. Tell me more. But if you're playing me, I'm not. Darius slid the folder her way again. First lesson, these accounts. See the patterns? Jamal is faking equity to snag bigger loans. Tiana's skimming off the top, charity fronts hiding her cuts. Aaliyah poured over it, questions tumbling out. How'd you get this? And that deal you lost? Details? He broke it down, voice low. A downtown flip Jamal snatched with forged bids, leaving Darius high and dry. Cost me 6 figures, but it's peanuts compared to what he's hiding. Millions in laundered cash, investors in the dark. Her anger built with each reveal, replacing the numbness. They think they're untouchable, parading that power couple BS. Exactly. Darius's smile turned sharp. But empires fall, and you're the key to the wrecking ball. They talked for hours, rain easing outside as her resolve hardened inside. Doubts lingered. Was Darius legit or just using her? But his facts checked out against what she knew. By the time he stood to leave, handing her a burner phone for safe talks, Aaliyah felt a shift. Not fixed, but fueled. Thanks, she said, meeting his gaze. For seeing me. He nodded. See yourself, Aaliyah. You're stronger than this mess. He vanished into the drizzle, leaving her with the folder and a brewing storm in her veins. Tomo turned to quiet determination. Maybe, just maybe, she could fight back. Aaliyah Thompson hunched over her laptop in the dim glow of her apartment, fingers flying across the keys as she dug through old emails. The burner phone from Darius buzzed on the table. Another tip. Check the 2023 flips, inconsistencies in the loan docs. She nodded to herself, pulling up files she'd salvaged from Jamal's old cloud drive, the one he'd shared back when she was his partner. Numbers jumped out, fake equity boosts, signatures that didn't match. Gotcha, she whispered, screenshotting the evidence. Her heart raced, not from fear anymore, but from the thrill of the hunt. She'd started small after their cafe meet. First call, an old contractor, Jamal, had stiffed on a payout. Yeah, Washington's a snake, the guy grumbled over the line. Pushed phony bids to undercut everyone. Here's a copy of the contract. See the forged stamps? Aaliyah saved the PDF, her pulse quickening. Next, a former investor she'd met at one of Jamal's mixers. He promised returns that never came, the woman spat. Tiana handled the financing, shady transfers I couldn't trace. More ammo. Bank statements showing loops of cash vanishing into thin air. Nights blurred into stakeouts in her mind. She'd park outside Jamal's office late, snapping pics of late-night meetings through the windows. Tiana slips in with folders, Jamal pacing like a caged animal. They're cracking, Darius had texted, but Aaliyah needed more, inside dirt. That's where Keisha came in. Her sister had always been jealous of Tiana's glow-up. The designer bags, the VIP invites. Aaliyah spotted it in Keisha's eyes during their last blow-up. Envy masked as loyalty. Time to flip that switch. She invited Keisha over for coffee and catch-up, playing the broken sis card. Keisha showed up wary, scrolling her phone as usual. What, you finally crawling out of our hole? Aaliyah poured mugs, keeping her voice casual. Just needed space. But hey, saw Tiana's latest post. Swanky charity gig. Girls are living large. She slid a printed rumor from Darius across the table. disguised as gossip. Headline, Whispers of Shaky Deals at Washington Properties. Keisha's eyes lit up, snatching it. What's this? Jamal in trouble? Aaliyah shrugged. Dunno. Overheard some talk. If it's true, imagine Tiana's face, married into a sinking ship. Keisha leaned in, greed flashing. She acts all perfect, but yeah, I've heard stuff. Like at their last dinner, she was bitching about hidden accounts. Bingo, Aaliyah probed gently. Hidden? Spill. Keisha hesitated, then spilled, ambition overriding caution. Tiana's got side hustles. Transfers don't tell Jamal about. Says it's her safety net. Even asked me to cover for a meetup once. Some offshore guy. Aaliyah's mind raced, recording it all mentally. Don't spread that, she warned, knowing Keisha would. Sure enough, Keisha couldn't resist. At Tiana's next brunch circle, the kind with mimosas and backstabbing, Aaliyah got the play-by-play from a planted ear, Darius's PI. Keisha dropped hints. Heard Jamal's deals are sketchy. Tiana, you sure about that empire? Tiana's fork clattered. Where'd you hear that crap? Keisha played innocently. Just chatter. But if he's hiding debts, your bag might shrink. Word spread fast. By evening, Jamal confronted Tiana at a private dinner party. Voices carrying through the cracked door where Aaliyah's contact lurked. You spreading lies now, Jamal hissed, glass slamming down. Keisha's yapping about my books. Sounds like you're paranoia. Tiana fired back, heels clicking as she paced. Paranoia? You're the one with ghost loans. I've seen the red ink. You think I'm blind? Guests shifted awkwardly, phones sneaking out for discreet recordings. Not here, Jamal growled, yanking her arm. But the damage hit social media by midnight. Cryptic posts from attendees. When the power couple powers down, tea spilled. Comments exploded. Trouble in paradise? Are Jamal and Tiana arguing at dinner? Keisha retweeted with a shady emoji, fueling the fire. Aaliyah watched from her couch, burner in hand. Darius called, Good work. Their masks are slipping. She smirked, piecing more evidence. An email chain from Keisha's slip-up, linking Tiana's charities to offshore dumps. They're turning on each other, she said, voice steady. The cracks widened. At a networking bash the next week, Jamal and Tiana showed up arm in arm. But tension crackled. Aaliyah crashed low-key, blending in with the crowd. She overheard Tiana snap at Jamal in a corner. Your fake contracts are going to bury us. I've been cleaning up your mess. Jamal's face twisted. Cleaning or stealing? Those transfers to your accounts. Think I didn't notice? Fists clenched, voices rose. Guests whispered, one pulling out a phone. This is gold. Online, it blew up. Clips of their spat went viral. Hashtags like, could you Washington wreck? Keisha texted Aaliyah smugly. Told you they're fake. But Aaliyah replied coolly, keep watching. Her sister, hooked on the drama, fed more. Tiana's accusing Jamal of hiding assets. Wild. Aaliyah filed it all, her folder thickening. The once perfect duo now stiff-smiled in pics, arguments leaking from every seam. Private tiffs turned public shade, sub-tweets like Tiana's. Some folks can't handle their own house. Jamal's reply post, trust is earned, not stolen. Followers ate it up, speculation raging. In the quiet of a library, Darius and Aaliyah meet and spread the intel. They're unraveling. Keisha's my unwitting mole. Her jealousy's gold. Darius nodded, adding docs. Push harder. Let them self-destruct. Aaliyah's eyes burned fiercely. For the first time, power surged through her veins, shadows of revenge closing in. Aaliyah Thompson stepped into the glittering ballroom, her sleek red dress hugging her frame like armor. The air buzzed with champagne pops and fake laughs. The city's real estate bigwigs toasting Jamal Washington's company anniversary. Chandeliers dangled like diamonds overhead, tables decked with hors d'oeuvres she couldn't afford anymore. She clutched her clutch tight, the folder inside packed with dynamite. Docs, screenshots, the works. Her heart hammered, but she lifted her chin, striding in like she owned the place. No more hiding. Tonight, she flipped the script. Jamal spotted her first, his tux sharp as ever, arm around Tiana in her sparkling gown. His smile faltered for a split second, then twisted into mockery. Well, damn, he called out, loud enough to draw eyes. Look who crashed the party. Aaliyah Thompson, ghost from the past. Tiana's laugh cut us sharply, leaning into him. Honey, be nice. She's probably here to beg for scraps. Snickers rippled through the crowd. Investors in suits, reporters with notepads, influencers snapping selfies. Aaliyah's cheeks burned, but she locked eyes with Jamal, her voice steady. Wouldn't miss it. Congrats on the empire. She weaved through the guests, heading for the stage where a mic waited for speeches. Whispers followed. That's the ex? Ballsy move. The MC wrapped up some fluffed toast, handing off the mic. Aaliyah stepped up before anyone could stop her, gripping it like a weapon. Ladies and gents, she said, voice echoing over the speakers, cutting the chatter dead. We're here celebrating Jamal Washington and his powerhouse. But what if I told you it's all smoke? Gasps sucked the air out. Jamal's face drained, pushing forward. Aaliyah, get off that stage! She ignored him, pulling papers from her clutch, holding them high. These are records from Washington properties. Fake contracts, forged loans, money laundered through shell games. Jamal built his flips on lies. Debts buried, investors scammed. The room erupted in murmurs. A reporter leaned in, phone recording. Investors clutched their glasses, eyes wide. She's nuts, Jamal yelled, storming the steps. But Aaliyah kept going, voice rising. You used me as cover, Jamal. Strung me along while you cooked the books. Those business trips, hiding fraud, and Tiana. She spun toward her ex-friend, who stiffened like ice. You weren't just the trophy wife. You siphoned cash into secret accounts, fake charities as fronts. Bank transfers prove it. You were stealing from your own hubby. Shouts broke out. Is this real? One investor barked. Cameras flashed, phones up. Tiana's composure cracked, her smile gone. Lies, don't listen to her, she's bitter. But Aaliyah opened another page. And it gets deeper. My own sister, Aaliyah Thompson, is in on it. She helped Tiana hide deals, hoping for a cut when it all crashed. Keisha, lurking at the edge in a borrowed dress, went pale. Aaliyah, no, I didn't. But the crowd turned, whispers turning to roars. Jamal reached the stage, face twisted in rage. You thieving bitch, he spat at Tiana, forgetting the mic. Stealing from me? After everything? Tiana whirled on him, nails out. Me? You're the fraud king. Fake loans, washing cash. I covered your ass. She shoved him, voice screeching. I took what I earned, you ungrateful punk. Guests backed up, tables rattling as the fight spilled off stage. Keisha rushed in, grabbing Tiana's arm. You promised me a piece, said it'd be easy. Tiana yanked free, eyes blazing. Shut up, you idiot. You ratted us out with your big mouth. Keisha swung back. Ratted? You used me like trash. Jamal lunged at Keisha. You scheming rat. Thought you could bleed me dry? Fists flew. Jamal shoving Keisha, Tiana clawing at him. The three tangled in a screaming mess. The ballroom exploded. Call security, someone yelled. Investors bolted for exits, one slamming his drink down. Washington, you're done. We trusted you. Reporters swarmed, shouting questions. Jamal, comment on the fraud? Tiana, are you facing charges? Phones captured every second. The trio rolling on the floor, accusations flying like bullets. You ruined me, Jamal roared at Tiana, tie askew, face scratched. I'll drag you down too. Tiana kicked at him. You were sinking anyway. I just grabbed my life raft. Keisha wailed, hair messed. This wasn't the plan. You said riches. Chaos reigned, glasses shattering, guests fleeing, flashes blinding. Aaliyah stood tall on the stage, watching the empire crumble. Her voice cut through one last time. This is betrayal, folks. Greed exposed. The perfect facade shattered, leaving only wreckage. Aaliyah Thompson stood outside the ballroom chaos, the night air cool against her skin as sirens wailed in the distance. Flashes from reporters' cameras lit up the parking lot like fireworks, guests spilling out in a frenzy. She watched Jamal get hauled off by security, his tux rumpled, yelling curses at Tiana, who clawed back from the sidelines. Keisha huddled nearby, tears streaking her makeup, phone clutched like a lifeline that had failed. Aaliyah's pulse still thrummed from the mic drop, but a calm settled in. Justice served, raw and real. The fallout hit like a tsunami the next morning. Headlines screamed across her feed. Real estate mogul exposed. Fraud rocks Washington empire. Investors yanked their cash overnight. Lawsuits piling up faster than snow in a blizzard. Jamal's office got raided by feds. Cops carting out boxes while he paced in cuffs, face twisted in denial. "This is a setup," he barked at the cameras, but no one bought it. Bankruptcy filings dropped within days. His flips foreclosed, assets frozen. Whispers turned to shouts. Former partners suing for millions, calling him a con man. Jail time loomed. Fraud charges sticking like glue. A trial date set that promised years behind bars. Tiana fared no better. Her finance gigs dried up overnight, clients bailing, her empowering seminars canceled. Social media torched her. Thief in designer heels, Tiana Jenkins busted. Family cut ties, her posh condo hit with liens from the siphoned funds. Cops knocked on her door with warrants, embezzlement raps that could land her in the slammer. She slunk away from the spotlight. No more glam posts, just haggard paparazzi shots, dodging questions. "No comment," she'd snap, but the damage stuck. Society's darling now a pariah, alone with her empty safety net. Keisha crumbled hardest. The brunch crew ghosted her, invites revoked like bad checks. "You played us," one texted before blocking. Family dinners turned icy. Mom glaring, aunties whispering. Keisha showed up at Aaliyah's door one night, eyes red, voice cracking. "Sis, I messed up. Tiana promised the world. Easy money, status." Aaliyah crossed her arms unmoved. "You called me a loser. Spread lies. Choose them." Keisha sobbed, collapsing on the stoop. "I was jealous, stupid. Now I'm nothing. Job hunt tanked, friends gone." Aaliyah shut the door softly but firmly. "Live with it." Keisha wandered off, regretting her only company, isolated in the mess she'd helped brew. Aaliyah? She walked taller. Streets that once whispered pity now nodded respect. "That girl's got guts," a neighbor muttered at the store. No Snickers attached. Old teaching buddies reached out. "Saw the news. Badass move." She fielded calls from reporters, keeping it cool. "Just set the record straight." Social media flipped, her face trending as the whistleblower queen, comments like, "From betrayed to boss." No more placeholder jokes. Now it was admiration, a touch of awe. Darius hit her up the next week, meeting at that same cafe, his suit crisp as ever. "You nailed it," he said, sliding over coffee. "Empire down, justice up. We make a hell of a team." His eyes lingered, hinting at more. Partnership, maybe sparks. "Let's build something. My resources, your fire. Could be big." Aaliyah sipped slowly, weighing it. The offer tempted. Stability after the storm. A partner who saw her worth. But she shook her head, smile faint. "Appreciate it, Darius. Really. But I don't need saving. Not from you, not anyone." He leaned back, respect flashing. "Fair. But if you change..." "Won't." She stood, leaving cash for her cup. "This win's mine. Time to build solo." Outside, the rain cleared to sun, mirroring her vibe. She hit the pavement with purpose, ideas brewing. Education community, her old passion, twisted fresh from the ashes. She scouted spots for a nonprofit spot, teaching kids financial smarts, dodging scams like the ones that burned her. Grants applied, old contacts revived. "Starting small," she told her reflection, braids fresh, eyes sharp. "But watch me grow." Weeks rolled by, her center opening doors, kids filing in, eyes wide at her stories. "Betrayal hurts," she'd say during sessions, voice steady. "But it fuels you. Turn pain into power." Parents nodded, community buzzed. That Thompson girl's changing lives. Whispers shifted to cheers, society tipping hats. Aaliyah stood on her balcony one evening, city lights twinkling below, breathing deep. Heartbreak scars lingered, but strength pulsed stronger. She'd risen, unbreakable, a force they couldn't ignore. And there you have it, folks, the story of Aaliyah Thompson, a woman who turned the deepest betrayal into her greatest strength. At its core, this tale reminds us that while heartbreak and deceit can shatter us, rising from those ashes isn't just about revenge. It's about reclaiming your power, finding your voice, and building a life that's truly yours. Sometimes the best comeback is simply becoming unbreakable. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one moment in your life where pain pushed you to discover a strength you didn't know you had? Share in the comments below. Your stories inspire us all. Stick around because next time, we're diving into another incredible journey of resilience, where a single act of courage changes everything. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and being part of this community. See you soon. Take care and keep shining.